I just happened to think of something. I might have one job that you could take a crack at. It ain't much, and I'm not begging you to take it, but it's a job. It'll keep you in coffee and cakes, dry place to sleep, shot now and then. What do you say?
Yes, sir.
It ain't much, but it's a job, right? Of course, it's only temporary. Just until we get a real geek. You know what a geek is? So what do you say? You think you can handle it?
Mister, I was born for it.
Welcome back to Last Night I Watched, everybody. I'm here hanging out in the garage with my boy Carlos. What's up, Carlos?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yep, and then over to my left here, I got Ian. Good morning, Ian.
Hello, fellows.
Hello,
Nice
hello.
to be here as always.
And then this is Roman speaking, of course. Today we're talking about a contemporary movie, Nightmare Alley, 2021. There's an original movie in 1947, but I think this isn't so much a remake of that as it is a remake of the book. Did you guys know like the story that it's based on? I never read it.
No, I'd only heard of the original movie, and that was fairly recent. Like
That you
I
heard
really,
of it?
yeah, that I heard of the old movie. Yeah, I didn't really know anything about Nightmare Alley.
I came in completely blind.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
That's what I did too. I didn't watch any trailers or anything for it. I wanted to go into it basically not knowing what it was about. And
Same.
so kind of in a nutshell, you got Bradley Cooper as the main guy, and he shows up at this carnival, and he kind of works his way up and eventually becomes a mentalist, they call it.
Okay.
You know, basically almost like a fake psychic. He learns kind of the tools of the trade from one of the guys at the circus and or the carnival, I should say, and eventually moves on to kind of do his own show. And as he goes on, he gets more and more involved with everything, kind of taking more risks. The spook show, as they call it, which is, he's manipulating people. And so over the course of the movie, it just elevates, and he's manipulating rich people, kind of falls into something maybe he shouldn't be involved with. And by the end, it kind of all comes crashing down on him. His hubris. He goes a little Icarus, flies too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's that. It's very Scarface-esque,
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Start from the bottom, kind of work your way up, and he's
Right.
making all this money, and then by the end, he's broke. The ending scene, is brutal. He's come full circle, and yeah. Yeah, so it was a fun watch. I had a good time.
Very good plot synopsis, sir.
Yeah.
Very,
Thanks.
very well done.
Yeah, try not to lose it. It's I was actually a little confused in the beginning. It sort of drops you in.
Right.
And I don't know if that's sort of an homage to like a 40s style movie.
Nah.
Honestly, though, I watched a little bit of the 1947 version. That one really drops you in. You're just right in the middle of the carnival, and he's like, "Step right up,
yeah.
see the geek."
Oh, neat.
I thought like when you said like it opens up and he's dragging the body and he burns the house down. Is that what you meant, or just like the movie in and of itself?
Both. Like
Okay.
it goes to that, and the next thing you know, he's on a train, and then all of a sudden he's at a carnival, and
Okay.
I was just, actually for the first act maybe of the movie, I would say I was a little confused at like what was going on. I wasn't really sure what the plot was supposed to be.
I felt that way with the 1940s one, but with this one, since I already knew what the plot was, it was a little more easy to follow.
Yeah. And I also think the plot is very cyclical. Like the ending of the movie could have been at the beginning of the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you could have, you could have taken that last scene where he meets up with Pendansky from Holes, Buster Scruggs. What's his name? Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson, yeah.
Yeah. You could have put that at the beginning, and that would have sort of framed it for the rest of the movie. But
Right.
instead, they, I like that Guillermo Del Toro chose to put it at the end, and you arrive there instead. And that's the ending of the movie. It just ends on that very dark note where, he has become the geek. And, yeah. It was brutal. It's a brutal movie.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of it? I mean, on your
Carlos got to see this movie, but you had an interesting experience because it wasn't just the regular viewing experience. You got to see it differently.
I went to Tower Theater, and they were playing. It's called Nightmare Alley, Vision in Darkness and Light. He re-released this movie about like a month later after it came out in black and white. The director Guillermo Del Toro released it again. I thought that was a super interesting perspective, because I know that they didn't shoot the movie for black and white, but the way that they lit the film, it actually translates so well. And he wanted to re-release it in black and white to kind of give homage to the classic noir films
That's what I
of
was
the olden
gonna
days.
ask. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it definitely feels very classic. Because if you watch the 1947 version, which is free on YouTube, that one's in black and white, of course.
Yeah.
And you can actually stream Nightmare Alley in color on HBO Max if you have that subscription.
It's on Hulu as well.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
I found
that's
that out
cool.
later.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, it's a period piece too, because
Yeah.
it takes place in 1939, 1941,
Right.
early World War II.
Is it kind of like Great Depression era?
Well, that's what I was. I watching this one. I was kind of. It looked like it almost like our Dust Bowl-y kind of.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that around this like 1920s, 1930s. That
Yeah,
was
part
when
of the
Dust
Great
Bowl was?
Depression, I believe.
So I guess they're kind of coming out of it. Because at first I was like, does this take place like in the 20s? And then they ask him what year it is, and he says 1941. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
41?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
at least Roman's right. They
Starts
jump
in
ahead to
39.
2 years, and then when it was the polygraph, they ask him, what year it is, who's the president, this and that,
Yeah,
and the other
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Yeah, and there's stuff about the war, like when Willem Dafoe and Bradley Cooper are dragging the first geek's body. He's like, "Did you hear about that little Charlie Chaplin lookalike? He's invading Poland."
Oh, I missed that. That's funny. That's
that-
super funny.
He's like, "The balls on that little kraut," or whatever he
Oh, that's
says.
fucking
You know?
hilarious.
Damn.
I told
Yeah.
that crowd at the league office, I don't fucking roll on Shabbos. Whenever I hear crowd, I think of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I thought it worked so well, to put it in black and white. I didn't see that version, but I caught a couple
Same.
scenes on YouTube of it, and it just looks so good. I mean, the shadows and the lighting and everything is freaking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I was pointing out to you guys, I saw a lot of like yellows and oranges, kind of like a gold hue, and then but paired up against like a bluish greenish coloring, like that to me feels like the color equivalent of black and white. It's kind of hard to explain, but when it's cast in blue light, it kind of makes it feel like you're watching a black and white film. So I could totally see how it would translate to black and white.
That's one thing that I noticed about Guillermo del Toro movies. We went back and watched Devil's Backbone last year. The
Carlos
way-
and I traded. So I gave you Devil's Backbone. You gave me Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
That's what they used to call tape trading back in the day.
Oh, nice.
But yeah.
But one thing I noticed is he loves lighting. He has a very heavy focus on lighting. If you watch Devil's Backbone, a lot of reds in that movie.
Yeah.
A lot of
Right.
oranges.
The kid has the red flowing out of his head throughout the movie. Right. The ghost kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Pan's Labyrinth, you might say there's a lot of those dark blues that we see in this movie. Maybe a couple yellows here and there, some greens. But yeah, this movie, I didn't watch... I watched the black and white version first, and then I watched a little bit of the colored version on HBO Max. It's crazy difference,
I
like
bet.
looking at all the colors and the
bet,
lighting.
yeah.
But he definitely has that like template where he just loves to have a color grade. I don't know if we can call it that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even like if you think about Hellboy, there's a lot of contrasting colors and stuff.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Blues, reds.
Yeah, and I think the contrast and like the shadows is a big part of what it is for black and white. I haven't seen any of the carnival scenes in black and white, but I could totally imagine that they would look really good.
Yeah.
The lights
Right.
versus like the background in the sky, and ooh, man. Another thing I noticed from him was there's a lot of, I guess it's like a motif of like circles, circular imagery. Did you notice there's like some transitions between scenes where it would kind of like close in on a circle around
yeah.
their face?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
two or
yeah.
three times I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like specifically Rooney Mara, I think, one
Oh,
scene. I
yeah.
could be wrong, though.
I honestly can't remember who they did it to, but I just remember
Okay.
thinking that was kind of an interesting
Yeah.
transition. And it felt, again, like, love letter or an homage to the 40s,
Right.
to the genre that it's doing. Because,
Right.
I mean, I can't think of many film noir movies that come out recently. The first one I always go to is Big Lebowski, and it's sort of satirical,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a lost art or anything, but I just thought he did a really good job of emphasizing a lot of the themes and motifs you'd see in that. And going back to the circles, like I think about the baby with the eye, the eyes. That was another thing, the eyes. You were talking about his lighting. He always has like an eye light on people, it seems like.
Like Cate Blanchett, a lot of those focusing
beautiful
on her
shots.
face.
But then sometimes not. I noticed Bradley Cooper with his hat, it would like kind of mask his eyes and put his eyes in shadow a lot.
Oh.
And that feels very film noir, like,
I think they do that in The Thing, kind of.
Oh yeah, they do. They probably do, yeah.
Like, I think in the blood test scene, it's something about, like, I think Palmer's eyes are not lit the same way as other people's.
Whoa.
That's cool, a little hint.
I think Red Letter Media point that out in their video, unless I'm thinking of something else.
That's
yeah.
cool.
No, that's neat. It's just really cool what you can do with light and shadow, and it's really cool that color adds so much more life to everything. But if you still strip it down, and even if you didn't have any color, like the way you watched it, it's just really pretty.
Right.
It's a very beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And sort of, I noticed like when you look at a lot of Guillermo Del Toro movies, there's like kind of a supernatural or like otherworldly shit going on. Like Shape of Water is just kind of out there.
Fish monster.
Yeah.
Or I was gonna bring up, I think it's called Crimson Dawn, Crimson
Peak.
Crimson Peak.
I haven't seen that. I remember
that one has crazy colors.
You've seen it?
Like ultra reds and ultra blues.
Yeah.
But that one's like another paranormal one where it's ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's in. Is that Loki from
Loki?
Is he in
Loki's
that?
in this one too
think
as Rooney Mara. I always think the two of them look alike. Rooney
You said
and
that
Kate.
last week, and I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
Rooney and
very
Kate
much,
look like
very,
Tom Hiddleston.
very much so.
Similar like facial structures.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. I forgot what we were talking about.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
like how Guillermo Del Toro likes to inject like paranormal things into
Yes.
his
Yeah,
films.
but I was gonna say there's not really so much of that in here.
The closest thing we get is like the fetuses, I guess.
Yeah, but that's kind of the what comes with a carnival, is just this otherworldliness. So you
Which
don't have to go outside that.
And that's not in the 1947 version.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that
Too
would-
hot
Oh,
for
the
TV.
fetuses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know if that would have flown back then.
Yeah.
They had to cut all the geek scenes. Actually, I was going to say this earlier, but I wanted to save it for now. They cut all the geek scenes out of the 1947 because they did show the geek tearing apart chickens.
Oh.
Apparently, from what I read, and they cut it out of the movie.
Oh wow.
That was really visceral in this movie. They just straight up show it.
Yeah.
Him
Yeah.
chomping the neck in half.
Reminded me a lot of Lord of the Rings. Smeagol coming out of his
Oh,
shadows
with the
or something.
fish?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because you get to see Galadriel's boobs in this too. Well, no, Kate Blanchett.
Right. I forgot she
That's,
was in Lord of the Rings.
that's right.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
see
even
her
think of
chest,
that.
but I don't think you see boobs.
I was gonna say like fully like it's, I
Wait, which
missed
version did you
missed that part. Yeah.
Extended cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unrated.
But
Yeah.
another thing that Ian and I were pointing out is Guillermo del Toro's use of fetuses in his movies. Because in Devil's Backbone, fetuses are
Oh,
a
that's
super
right.
important part of the
Yeah.
plot almost.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think,
Well, that elicits a reaction for sure. A fetus,
yeah, it's like super creepy.
Well, so this might be reaching. This might not even be worth mentioning. But the first thing I thought of when I saw the fetuses is a movie called The Funhouse, which I think I kind of brought up to you. That's how I found out about this movie. The Funhouse is directed by Tobe Hooper, and I listened to Tobe Hooper is best known for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, and I listened to the commentary with him, and he said one of the main reasons why he got drawn to direct The Funhouse is because he was a fan of Nightmare Alley, the original, obviously, and in The Funhouse, there's jars of fetuses. Of like animals and even like a human being. It kind of ties in with the movie. There's like themes of the carnies being incestuous, if you will.
Whoa.
And I almost was thinking like, is that Guillermo? I can't even say it either. Guillermo del Toro kind of referencing that movie, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm reaching there. That's a bit of a stretch, maybe.
I wonder.
But that's the first thing I thought of, especially with the one with the third eye.
Yeah, the baby. Yeah, there's. I wonder if that was also just a thing with carnivals back in the day. Like maybe they really did have pickled fetuses, and I think at one point Willem Dafoe is putting like a pickled pig up.
Oh,
Yes,
He says,
yes.
"Turn that one away. He's
Yeah,
shy."
he's shy, right? Yeah,
Yeah. So I obviously we weren't around back then, And plus, a lot of it was probably hidden, like when the sheriff comes and he pulls down the sign and they have to hide the geek and all that stuff. Pickled fetuses, I don't think those would fly. No. But, when the law's not around, maybe. I'm not sure,
Women in bikinis, too. That's why the marshal was storming them.
Oh, that's
He was going to arrest her for indecency or something?
Right, yeah. That's funny.
Have good women and girls in this town.
Yeah.
Decent women.
Yeah, that was funny.
So you think. I mean, they're all at the carnival watching chickens getting eaten and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty savage.
Yeah.
So, Ian, what about you? What did you think on your first viewing of this?
So, I watched the 1947 version, and then I watched this. I think we said this before we started recording. It helped me understand the plot a little better going into the 2021 version after watching the 1947 version. And like you, Roman, I didn't watch trailers or anything. I really didn't know anything much about. I was almost like, is it a horror movie? Is it just a drama? Is it crime? Which it, in a way, a little bit, but I think, noir is probably the best way to sum up this movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was good acting. Had a really good cast.
Right, great cast.
The rise and fall of a man, which I thought was the whole and it was cool for me seeing the differences, like the whole father angle. I don't believe was in the 1947 version.
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
And I didn't even know what to make of that either.
I didn't. Yeah.
Father, dad issues.
Yeah.
And mom issues, honestly.
Right, because he kind of burns this house down with his dad in it.
Yeah. Which you don't know right away. You kind of find out throughout the movie.
You learn throughout the story.
But he doesn't like get arrested for it or anything, or he doesn't really like tell anybody.
Yeah.
I guess it's just more the trauma he suffered.
Or just like this man has demons in his past, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it follows him all throughout the movie. It never leaves him. Yeah. Well, that was one thing I thought was interesting about the dad angle, was that he ends up killing a bunch of old men throughout the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Pete, the older, former mentalist.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, did he do that on purpose? Kill Pete?
I think so.
Oh, really?
So?
I think he frames it as an accident, but to me it seemed like intentional, because right before that, what's her name? Toni Collette?
Yeah.
Xena?
Yeah.
She tells him, Pete hurts me every day. Like he's actively like hurting us by being an alcoholic.
He fucks up too. He's kind of a fuck up.
He is, yeah. And so I think that's supposed to represent, in Stanton's mind, his father and his mother, because I think the idea was that his mom left because his dad was a drunk, and then his dad sobers up. Stan has to take care of him. Eventually burns him. There's a lot they don't explain about his past, like which is okay, I suppose. But that at least it seemed explained to me by the end of the movie, that he resented his dad for driving his mother away and kind of like holding him back. So he kills him, he burns him. Later, he kills Pete with the wood alcohol and sort of frees up Xena. I think even Xena later like kind of thanks him for it almost in a way. It's kind of odd, their interaction. And then also at the end, his name's Ezra Grindle, the rich guy.
Yes.
Played by Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, Richard Jenkins.
Very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's dope.
Yeah, punches him in the face to death.
Yeah.
Crazy kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of another thing. He mentions that he had been like abusing young women and stuff, and that really like sets Stan off.
He hurt them.
Yeah, he did.
What do you mean you hurt? I hurt them.
Yeah. Also, when he hits Molly is when he really like freaks out and murders him. But yeah, I think it all comes back to his dad. I think his daddy issues. And don't they even say that at one point? Daddy issues, mommy issues? Like, what's your problem?
That's funny.
Everybody's got them.
Everybody's
got a mommy issue or a dad issue.
So
I thought that it was he did not intentionally kill Pete, because in the 1947 version, they don't play it off like that. In fact, the reason why he's having these therapy sessions is his guilt for accidentally killing Pete.
Gotcha.
Like he has he gets like whiffs of alcohol and he's kind of freaking out, and he's talking to the therapist, or was that what she, or psychologist, whatever
Yeah,
she was.
she's like a psychologist.
In the 1947 version, she's they kind of pinpointed to the reason why the alcohol is making him have these sort of what do you call it, like uncomfortable feelings, is because it's tied back to him
Because of
accidentally
Pete.
killing Pete. And I in that version, I don't think he intentionally did, but yeah, I could see this version.
Yeah,
It could be intentional almost.
Because again, that I think that goes back to his dad, the alcohol stuff.
Right.
His dad being an alcoholic, which he eventually becomes.
Yeah.
In the 47 version, when they discover Pete's body, it zooms in on our hero Stan's face, and he's like shocked. He has like big eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's
Yeah.
like looking at the bottle, and he's like, "Oh no, what just happened?" But also right before that, he's talking with Molly, his girlfriend. Man, we could get out of here if I could just get that book. I just have to get that book.
Right,
So it's like,
yeah.
wait, did he mean to kill Stan? I don't
In this
know.
one, he
Or did
does get the book. He takes the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he uses it. Obviously.
Do they mention the code that Xena and Pete have in this one? They had their own special code that they picked up in the vaudeville
That
days.
was actually
Yeah.
one of my favorite
Did they mention that in
scenes.
this one too? Okay.
Yeah, when they're sitting at the table and they're all like, "Here, we'll do an example for you," and he goes to the doorway, and Xena's helping him do the code, and then I think they target that he has daddy issues
Yep.
at that point.
Right away, because they could tell the watch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The
yeah.
watch comes from an older man, which
Right.
he takes from his dad. He took the radio too, but he didn't have any sentimental attachment to the radio. I thought that was interesting when you think about it later. He just sold it for $5
No, that's right.
when he got to the circus. But he does keep the watch, and it's like a constant reminder, constant because it ticks. And they make a note to make the ticking noise every time it's on the screen. You hear like tick, 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 tick,
That's
tick,
cool.
tick.
I didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he held the watch up his ass.
5 long years he had that watch up his ass.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it's kind of symbolic too when he gives it away at the end for the alcohol.
Yeah.
He's like trading that guilt
Right.
in for basically just he's going all in on being an alcoholic, which is crazy, man. Alcohol is poison. I think they even say that.
Yep.
Willem Dafoe says that to him. He's like, it's not the opium, it's the alcohol that really
Yeah.
gets you. And Stan's been chain smoking cigarettes all movie. He doesn't care about not having cigarettes. It's the whiskey he wants.
Right.
That's just crazy, the power it has over people.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
movie's an anti-alcohol
Yeah.
PSA.
Very
Oh,
much
yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch the battle of wits kind of between Stan and Lilith, Cate Blanchett's character, that frozen face bitch.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny because didn't they play in a movie together where they were like lesbian lovers, her and
Oh,
Rooney Mara?
really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I've never seen it, but I know it's called Carol. It's called Carol,
Okay.
and it's got
Wow.
Rooney Mara and Cate Blanchett. And
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, so they play lovers, and in this one, I loved it when she said that frozen face
Yeah,
bitch because
that's
I always
funny.
think of her as Galadriel.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, and she really is just like she has one face. So,
Was
but
she
she's very
saying-
striking in this movie. Like
Lord of the
do-
Rings, once that once was is lost. For none now live who remember it.
Yeah, you will see before me a queen.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
That part always scared me.
Oh,
when
me
I
too.
was
Yeah,
little.
it's spooky,
There's a
man.
few scary scenes
Spooky.
in that first. I remember seeing it as a little kid in the theater and being, whoa,
yeah,
scary.
yeah. So she's striking. She's frightening, and she's very powerful in this movie. And she's very like angular, if that makes sense. Like her face, like her chin and jaw.
Okay, yeah.
And then like I felt like the way they did her makeup and her lipstick and stuff accentuated it.
Yeah.
And there's that whole power dynamic between her and Stan. Like I liked in The Office, like sometimes she'd be standing over him, like when he's leaning, and then other times kind of he'd be standing over her. And obviously in the end she wins,
Yeah. She
which
does,
is what
yeah.
it's all about for her. I thought that was interesting. She's like, I don't care about the money. Like I just wanted to beat you, basically.
Yeah.
She's like, you never stood a chance against me. You're just an Okie with straight teeth. I thought that line was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that it was more like she was using Stan to get, oh man, who's the
To get
rich
rid
guy?
of
Grindel?
Grindel,
Because
maybe.
I feel like Ezra Grindel might have had some of that anger towards women towards her, and that's why she has the big
The
chest
scar. Oh,
Huh.
that's a good point.
Wow.
It
And I
could have
feel
been
like
him.
this was just like a long con for her to come around and
Oh,
get
wow.
Ezra killed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's a good
That
point.
was
I never
my
thought
guess.
of that.
I don't know.
And then He also gets the other rich guy killed. I can't remember his name.
It was like a judge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the scene where his wife kills him?
That
Yeah,
part was
Mary
crazy.
kills Steenburgen. Yeah.
Who's usually married to Richard Jenkins in movies.
That's
they're
right.
the parents and
It's
stepbrothers.
Stepbrothers. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I always see them in movies
Yeah.
together. If I see
always
one,
like
I
her.
almost always see the other.
She's a good actress. I like her.
She's in Cabin in the Woods with him as well. I mean, I don't think they're
She
together,
is?
but yeah, I believe so. I could be
Oh,
thinking of
wow.
another movie. They've done so much together. Right? But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, she shoots the husband and then herself
And
to
then
be close
yeah.
to the son.
Yeah.
That was I just liked how there were a lot of like they string out a lot of loose ends in the first half or so of the movie, and then by the end they're pretty much all tied up. That's why I said it's very circular, the movie.
Yeah.
But they say early on, Xena tells him like, you don't do the spook show, like
You
people
never
get
do the
hurt,
spook
and Stan's
Right.
like, you're just gonna help them, like how could you hurt them? And as you see in the movie, like it basically just causes nothing but pain for everybody.
Yep.
I mean, you know, the wife, she's not so much in pain. She has hope that she's going to see her son, but it ultimately ends up in her and her husband's demise.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Stan kills Grindel
Yeah.
and the bodyguard.
Yeah.
So it's just it all goes to shit real fast.
Yeah.
Did you guys recognize the bodyguard?
I did, but I don't know where I know him from.
I know, right?
He's in so he's in Alien 3. He's a prisoner in Alien 3, and he's the guy who starts his name is Robert Paulson chant in Fight Club.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also in Creepshow 2. He's in
He's
the
kinda
old,
like
he's,
character actor.
he's the old chief. He's in the old Chief Woodenhead segment. He's a Native American in that movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
His name's
Holt McCallany or something.
Yeah.
I forget how to say his
Holt
name.
McCallany, and
Yeah.
he's playing Anderson, the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always like seeing him show up. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I felt like almost every single actor I recognized just about.
Yeah.
You know, like every main or everybody that had a role. I don't think I recognized the sheriff
No. I didn't.
or the geek.
What's his name? Ron Perlman. He's a mainstay in Guillermo
Oh,
Del
yeah.
Toro movies.
Always
Yeah.
good to
The
see. He's
former
Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to
Yeah.
see him pop up.
He's
Yeah.
a strong man in this.
Yeah. Bruno.
Yeah. And
Ich
then there's a
bin
little guy
Bruno.
I don't recognize the
Oh, the little guy. Me neither.
yeah.
When I bring that up, did you guys? This is totally off topic, but did you guys hear about Peter Dinklage complaining about Snow White?
Yeah.
And now it's no longer Seven Dwarfs.
No, that's funny.
Kind of interesting.
I feel bad. That's like 7 jobs gone away for little people.
Right, yeah.
It's
But
kind of
they probably
douchey
weren't
on
gonna
his
use
part.
little
I
guys.
mean, I think he's a fine actor, but like, I don't get that. Like, you just kind of robbed 7 jobs from people.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
they have roles like this. Although I'm sure in 1947 when the original was made, it was more exploitative. You know, they were like, let's put a little person in there.
I don't even think there is a little person in the
No.
1947
Oh,
version.
yeah.
There's
They do
no
have Bruno though.
yeah.
Oh, the strong man.
Because like Bruno's
big
really
boyfriend.
attached to Molly in that. He is in this too.
yeah,
But yeah, really in the there's not really many like freak show, whatever you want to call them. Like yeah, from what I remember.
yeah,
This one they play it up a lot more. in the
Yeah, like
carnival.
the one guy who like kind of contorts his body and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
He calls himself like a snake or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the spider lady.
Right.
She's like sitting in the wall
Yeah,
with the spider
Yeah,
legs
that was
around.
good.
That's
goofy.
funny. Yeah.
yeah. The spider. I liked all the carnival scenes. I thought it was really cool, really, really lively.
Yeah.
I love the scene where he chases the geek into the funhouse or
Yeah.
or whatever you'd call that.
It's
The
like
haunted.
House of the Damned or something.
Yeah,
maybe?
House of Damnation with all
Yeah.
the sins written on the
Right.
sides and yeah, that was another thing. He like, there's a lot of times where you feel like basically he's just got one way to go. He's kind of being pushed everywhere. I think there's themes of like destiny in this movie and stuff like that. And so, you know, I'll meet you on the other side, the guy says, and he just shuts him into the funhouse and he has to walk. And that was maybe the first time I noticed like a circle. There's like a circular tunnel he's got to walk through.
Oh yeah.
And then there's eyes all over the walls. And then he sees the geek. Oh, and there's mirrors everywhere too. You know, it says like, look at what you are or something like
Yeah.
that.
Look at yourself, sinner.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's what it is. And then I think that's supposed to be like a deeper meaning in terms of like he's looking at the geek a minute later and he ends up becoming the geek, you know, like that was kind of his
Damn.
path.
Yeah.
Because the tarot readings are a big part of the movie too, and
Yep.
they're always right.
Yeah.
You know, so like kind of how there's that supernatural element to the Guillermo Del Toro movies, I would say that's kind of in this movie, that's what it is.
Okay.
That the tarot cards,
Yeah. I can see that.
you know, they make a point of the mentalism not being real magic necessarily,
right.
but then the tarot readings are always accurate. he ends up becoming the Hanged Man.
Same with the 1947 version. She keeps drawing, I think, the death card.
Oh yeah.
For Pete.
Yeah.
And then of course for our hero Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's all accurate. And then I liked how at the end when he's running from the law and he pulls the chickens aside, which I thought was another nice touch, that he's in a chicken coop.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's gonna eventually be eating chicken.
Right. Yeah.
He lays down on the ground and the camera like comes kind of like pulls up, and he is like kind of like arms spread in that Hanged Man pose.
Oh wow. That's cool.
And he's cocky, like he doesn't believe in it. When she draws the Hangman card, he flips it upside down.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm okay now. I'm all good now.
Right.
But you're not, buddy. You can't run from fate or destiny or anything like that. And it's just the whole movie kind of closes in on him as it goes, and full circle and everything. Yeah. Just really good stuff.
Well, and then there's the ending where he says, I was born to be the geek.
Yeah.
Basically.
That was something I saw, like a little video somebody did about the difference between that one and the 1947 one, where he says, I was made for the geek. Like, sir, I was made for this. And then in this one, he says, I was born for this. And the implication is like, he wasn't created necessarily, but this was just kind of who he was meant to be all from the start.
Huh.
I don't know how. I kind of personally thought he was made for it. I thought he was shaped by it, by stuff like his dad's, and
right.
He has choices throughout the movie. That's another part. Like, you can go this way or you can go this way, and every time he pretty much makes the wrong choice. They tell him, don't do the spook show.
Yeah.
When the couple of the carnies come back to the hotel room and Rooney Mara's like, I invited them, I hope it's okay. That's what Xena even tells him, don't do the spook show. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But of course he does. He goes and he tries to trick the old rich people, and
Well, that means it's more destiny then,
I suppose so, yeah.
rather than choices.
Right.
Like, he had the choices, but he was always going to make the wrong, what is essentially the wrong choice. Yeah, I mean, maybe. No, I think there's a lot of depth to it, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
And on top of it, you got a very pretty movie in general, like cinematography wise.
Yeah.
A great cast.
Yeah.
We talked about the score, maybe not. It doesn't stand out to you, but I don't think it needs to.
No. Yeah, I agree
I
with
don't
that.
remember the score.
Yeah.
That's a good thing when you don't remember the score, I suppose.
Yeah.
True, it's not like over the top.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah. So I just liked. It was a long movie. It was definitely long, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I thought they used the time pretty well. It was like paced pretty well. I thought maybe some near the beginning sort of dragged.
I thought it dragged in some places. The particularly maybe in the middle when Cate Blanchett's character gets introduced. I think it kind of dragged at times a little bit for me.
Those scenes with Cate Blanchett felt very old timey to me, like straight out of a film noir movie.
A little bit, yeah.
Like a noir film, where it's just the two of them. They're going back and forth and they're like discussing, and you could tell she's trying to get the better of him, but he's got his walls up. That scene where he lays down, he eventually kind of gives in. And
Also her office too.
yeah, beautiful.
It's very
office.
like metal, I don't know, like industrial.
I also like that a lot of it is her character, I think in general, is just very like secretive and guarded, and you could see that in the office. Like, she's got like a secret door to a safe. She's got another secret door to like a passageway. She secretly records people, so
Like Clue or something.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit of Clue. Like you pull a book down and then, and so it just, that's why I like that line so much. You're just an Okie with straight teeth, is because he's a little out of his element. Donnie, you're out of your element. He's going toe to toe with her, and she ends up obviously getting the better of him, and he ends up becoming a fuck up, a geek.
Yeah. In the 1947 version, he's not really like he doesn't have a southern accent. He's more just kind of, I don't know, just I don't know what they portray. They don't really portray him like that at all. He's just some guy. He's a carnie.
Yeah.
He's a carnie. I always think of Austin Powers. He's like, there's only two things that frighten me in this world. One of them's nuclear war. And the other? What? The other thing. What's the other thing that frightens you? Carnies.
That's great.
Yeah.
He's a connie, if you think about it, because he's a con man too.
Right. He's the definition of a con man.
Yeah, and I personally, when I think of like a snake oil salesman, I think of like a well-spoken Southern guy.
Okay.
I don't know where that character mold or archetype comes from, but
From those old westerns, maybe.
Maybe.
yeah, you know, like old money down in the South or something. It's
Yeah.
like, let me sweet talk you. My voice is like sweet tea and blah blah blah. You know?
What'd you guys think of Bradley Cooper? Because I read that originally Guillermo Del Toro approached Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah, I
to
read that
play
too.
the
Yeah.
Stan character.
I
and
thought
then
he did good.
Yeah, he
He's
said,
fine.
"Oh, I can't do it. Let's go ask my boy Bradley." I thought Bradley Cooper was pretty good in this one.
Yeah.
Although, because going into this one blind, for the first like 10, maybe 20 minutes, our hero doesn't speak at all.
Right,
So I was thinking, oh,
right.
is this like one of those twists where it's a deaf character we're following all along, like a Book of Eli,
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
blind character
the
all
blind
along or
guy.
something?
That's funny.
But he does eventually talk. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
and I think that he does pretty good in this movie because
Yeah.
he's the guy from Hangover.
True.
and
This is
seeing him-
Rocket Raccoon here doing
Rocket
some
so funny. Yeah,
screaming and shooting
yeah.
people, and in this one he's just doing a mentalist gig.
Right.
I think he does pretty good. And then when we finally escape the carnival, or not escape, but get away from it, and we're introduced to him doing his new gig a couple years later as a mentalist, he adopts like this old-fashioned voice, like almost like a radio voice. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
please
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
put your information in there, and I will
Yeah.
read it out loud to you.
Right.
He
Yeah,
goes full
very
on
true.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked the beginning where he doesn't speak, because I feel like they gave good characterization to him even
Yeah.
without, like, non-verbally. You didn't need to know. You didn't need to hear him say anything. And that's another thing that's interesting, that it comes full circle, that the first time he speaks to somebody is to the geek. And he's, like,
Really?
showing him empathy, too, you know? Yeah,
That's right,
Hey,
yeah.
buddy, I don't even want to hurt you.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole time he's just kind of going along. He's just being shunted along to do this, to do that, and he just does it all quietly and agrees. And then finally, like, when he talks, it's to the geek.
Makes me wonder that geek's backstory. How did that geek turn out to be that
Right.
geek, you know?
Just play the movie over again.
It may be. God. Yeah, maybe so.
That goes back to Roman's
Yeah,
cyclical
the
idea,
circular. Yeah.
Yeah,
which
they're-
I definitely see.
He
that.
keeps saying something. He's like, like, I'm not this way or something.
Yeah.
Isn't he saying something
yeah,
like
I
that?
think I can't remember
Oh,
what
the
it is
geek?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not like
yeah,
this.
I'm not.
something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, no, I mean he's humanized a little bit by Bradley Cooper's character, like when he goes and gives him the cigarette and stuff, and he tries to talk to him, but obviously he hits him with the rock like a caveman or something. But I think that's kind of showing, like, this is a human being, and this is Willem Dafoe gives the whole speech on how to break in a geek and stuff like that.
Which
And
I
honestly,
love that.
I did too. Yeah, it was great. It was a great scene, and then I thought the whole time that was in the back of my mind, because I'm like, they gave that scene for a reason. But I actually didn't even see it coming that Bradley Cooper would end up being the geek.
Yeah.
Maybe not until the very end when he goes into the train, and like he lays there and you see him lay there, and like I said, it's like the hangman pose and there's chickens, and I'm just like, at first I thought maybe the movie would end just like that, but then they take it a step further and show him actually groveling basically for a job and being like, I was born for this.
William Dafoe's explanation of how to get a geek going is like what I've come to love about William Dafoe. Because if you watch Lighthouse, he has those like long monologues where he'll just be explaining a story.
Yeah.
And those are killer. Like, how does he
Yeah.
memorize those lines, but also be able to perform with his like eyes and,
Right.
telling just fantastic, spooky stories that'll get
Yeah.
you really sucked in. And in this one, he sucks you in with that one. Oh yeah, you just give him a little bit of opium in their alcohol and you starve them out.
Yeah.
And that actually comes around towards the end when we're introduced to the new carnival guy. He's like, oh yeah, I just got that random baby from a former carnie.
Right.
And then he starts like giving him alcohol. You want some alcohol, bud?
Yeah.
Oh, here, have a little bit more.
Yeah.
Pour you another shot. And that's exactly what William Dafoe was describing.
Literally,
Yeah.
he even says, it's just a temporary job.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's gross because it's genuine, like, human manipulation, like they're getting someone addicted onto something, or someone that's already addicted. They're
Yeah.
only indulging them enough to use them for a carnival, basically.
Yeah. It is
and
a decent.
dehumanize them.
Yeah, it's a decent scene. It's like, you be a geek. You know what a geek is, right? And he
Yeah, he
takes
knows.
his shot. Yeah.
It's just like you said. They could have They could have done a whole nother 2.5 hour movie where they put the first geek in, and it would have started the same way and ended probably the same way. And that's another full circle thing, that he sees the baby with the eye. He can't get away from He can't get away from it, basically.
This might be a stretch, but we did have a couple years ago the opium crisis declared in the United States. I wonder if that could be relatable now, seeing how they kind of feed a little bit opium into their alcohol, and then they can transform them. Yeah. But that's always kind of been like the destiny, almost this narrow nightmare alley that we've been set on this whole time, where we're just led down this path to becoming geeks ourselves. Yeah. This is an interesting one to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm geeking out, man.
I'm geeking out on the
Now it's fentanyl,
Right.
But still, it's different words, but the same idea. Different substances, I guess.
But of course, this book was written back in
it was written in 1946, or it came out in 1946,
right after World War II.
Whoa, and they made the movie the next year?
Yeah, it's like a Jaws thing. I remember in our long lost Jaws recording, I think one of us mentions Jaws came out in 1974, the book, and then 1975 the movie came out.
Yeah, like they had the movie rights.
I read that. Yeah, they like got the movie rights even before the book came out. It's like, wow.
I wasn't I don't want to say adrenaline shots, but there was a certain, I think maybe even opium was introduced in World War II, where you hit your leg with the shot, and it kind of helps you. I think Saving Private Ryan, don't they pump our guy full of a bunch of those to kill him?
Which guy? I'm trying to think who that was.
It wasn't the machine gunner, was it? When he gets like
it's one of the guys
up by the machine gun nest.
Oh man, I forget. I know what you're talking about.
Though. Oh, it was the doc.
The
doc can't fix himself.
Yeah,
so he's like, just keep pumping
that's
him.
right. Yeah. I forget that actor's name, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Maybe because you said that this was created in 1946, post World War II, after opium's kind of been introduced in the population.
Is the opium even a thing in the 1947 version? I don't remember them bringing up opium off the top of my head.
Maybe just alcohol. Huh?
Yeah, but it's probably in the book, I would imagine.
I don't know.
Maybe
not.
Drugs
maybe
and
not.
war.
Yeah, maybe not.
Drugs and war have gone together for a long time.
Very true.
Yeah, people always say Hitler was on meth.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Nazis in general were on meth.
Yeah,
I don't know
that as well.
All kinds of crazy stuff. So maybe though, I mean, anything made in 1946, I'm sure has some kind of like echoes of World War II involved in it. And it's interesting that it's placed in 1939, 1941. I wonder why, pre-World War II, I wonder why they chose to do that. Maybe because it's kind of the overlap of the wartime with the Depression era, like you were saying. Because I've always thought of it that the Great Depression kind of ends at World War II.
Yeah. Well, because that's why they're fighting, because Germany, their economy is in the toilet, so that's why they go to war.
Yeah, because it's a worldwide depression, right? So,
yeah.
Oh man, this movie is just, it's dark.
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley is dark.
Yeah.
I also felt like that's why Stan had to kill his father too, was because he was weighing him down, and they're in kind of like a broken down old.
Yeah, it
I don't want to say shack,
house.
but
it's almost like a shack.
It looked like Courage the Cowardly Dog house.
Exactly. That's a great,
out in the middle of nowhere.
And they're probably like out of money up there, and he's done taking care of him, so he wants to set out on his own adventure and try to make money.
That's one thing I'm curious about Stan's backstory, is how did he get to be such a smooth talker, and was it naturally a natural talent, and plus when he beats up the geek, like he looks very comfortable when he fights him. Like he grabs his throat, throws him to the ground, and then like when he just bops him with the nightstick like twice.
Right.
I didn't know if that was kind of an homage again to older films where I don't know if action was necessarily as developed. You don't like reach over your head and then like throw it down on the guy. He just kind of like bop bop with the stick a couple times and fucks up the geek. But point being, he looked very comfortable doing that, and I just wonder like, was he a fighter before that? I mean, what was Stan's life like? Besides his mother leaving and his dad weighing him down or whatever it was, being sick. I just, they don't ever talk about that, and they don't necessarily need to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. It leaves it open for interpretation. Yeah.
When he's talking to Cate Blanchett, don't they start talking? There's like another man involved in his childhood.
Oh yeah, like someone took away his mom.
Yeah.
Or something like
yes.
That.
And she
Yeah.
almost implies that he was molested by that person. He shrugs
Oh
it
yeah,
off.
he does. Yeah. There's some like themes of that, like people getting taken advantage of. You know,
Yeah.
like the Grindel at the end talking about the women when he's first talking to Rooney Mara. When they're first getting close, she says like, "I've never let a man go all the way, like not by choice anyway," or something like that.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
implying that she's been assaulted. He's been
Yeah.
assaulted.
Yeah.
You know, Cate Blanchett's got the scar
Whoa.
thing, like, and she says life happened.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I remember
So
that
just,
quote.
I think people being taken advantage of in general is just kind of a running throughout the whole movie.
Right.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, just people being handled, not
Yeah.
necessarily choosing their own path for them. It's all, it's like this is kind of dumb, but when you finish a paper towel roll and you know you got like the empty roll and like you look through it like a periscope or something, like tunnel vision type.
Yeah.
That's for some
funny.
reason that's what I think of.
Yeah, I read something that like Guillermo Del Toro's father was like kidnapped in the late '90s.
What the fuck?
And I don't know what happened. I don't know what the outcome of it was. Hopefully they found him. But right away, people like these mentalists approached Guillermo Del Toro's mother and were like, you know, oh, we're getting you know, all that crap, like, oh, we're getting visions and it seems like he's safe. And then he just immediately was just like, get the hell out of here.
Jeez.
Like, get the fuck out of here, you
Oh, so he
idiots.
probably was interested in this type of
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And he takes time to explain it. Like in the 47 version, they're like, oh, they just have a code. They have a code.
Right.
But this one,
yeah.
they like break it down and kind of open the book a little
Yeah.
bit
Show
and
you
show
how it
you some of the
works.
codes in there. And,
It's
you know, you say this and, you know, you can assume it's an H or.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
right. No, it's neat seeing the behind the scenes type stuff because, you know, carnivals and all that can be such a mystery to people, but when you break it down, you know, it's not magic after all. Actually, it's funny. I know about this kind of hack, like racket, basically, like that they're doing the scam from South Park. Actually, they have an episode of it's like a TV psychic, and Stan basically is like, you guys, like he's just fucking scamming you, and he
think
basically breaks down like how he does
think
it.
I remember that,
Someone's
yeah.
in the audience like feeding him information about
yeah,
people,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of funny that, you know, South Park taught me something.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
familiar with it before this movie, so I'm
Right,
like, oh yeah,
yeah.
same. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
You know, I like the cutout underneath Xena's stage where she could look down and see like the
Yes. Yeah, that
whiteboard
was
and
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice to get some explanation on it.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's kind of like it's rooted in reality where there's no special psychic stuff going on. They're mentalists. They're reading people, reading the mark. But yet at the same time, you know, you got those tarot cards telling them like, you're gonna fucking die, bro.
Yeah.
And sure, he doesn't necessarily die, I guess, but his humanity is basically gone by the
Yeah.
end.
Were there any more standout performances for you guys?
I don't know if we mentioned Cate Blanchett necessarily.
Not really. We
I-
skimmed.
Yeah.
I
But-
just thought her character was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her in
Very
this
measured.
one.
Yeah.
And
for
I
sure.
kind of thought her motivation the whole time was revenge.
Mhm.
Because when she first kind of like tries to expose him and he's like nickel-plated, ivory-handled
Yeah.
gun.
The pistol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like insults her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then he keeps grilling her. He sort of like sits next to her and he's like, you got problems with blah, blah, blah. And even Rooney Mara's character is like, hey, why did you do that with her? You know, like you already... Anyway, I think that humiliation was kind of why she wanted to... But then I do like the angle you were talking about with Richard Jenkins' character. Maybe she just wanted him gone or something. But
'Cause
yeah,
I think she even had like tapes with that character.
she had
too.
recordings of him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Bradley Cooper steals
Yeah.
and then finds information. So,
Right.
but anyway, yeah, I liked her character because she was kind of the if there was an antagonist, I would say it was almost her. You know?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, in a certain way.
Because really, there's not many people to root for in this. It's kinda,
No, he's not a hero.
No,
Bradley Cooper
yeah.
is not. He's not even an anti-hero, really.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a tragic character. You watch
Yeah.
his again the Scarface thing.
Yep.
You watch his rise and fall.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't
Because
call
of
him
pride.
a villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a villain.
No, yeah, he does bad things, but I mean, they're at a carnival. Everybody does. You know, this first thing Willem Dafoe says to him, I think, is like, "We don't care what you've done here or what you did or, you know, who you are here." You know. But it's hard to pick like standout performances because they're all just so solid.
Yeah.
I would say.
I agree. Yeah.
There's a lot of Bradley Cooper on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does well. He does a good job.
Yeah.
He's got the accent, that little mustache,
Yeah.
the Vincent Price.
Yeah. Yeah, like pencil thin almost kind of.
Yeah, I dig the look. The I would say like the costume design is really good in this. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the old timey outfits and
Yeah.
the cool carnival outfits.
Right. Yeah.
I like the red dresses. I feel like there's a lot of women in red dresses.
Yeah.
Molly's in a red like coat all the time. And
Right.
then I think Cate Blanchett's character once or twice. Plus she has red lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they have the old-fashioned cars, the old-fashioned trucks, vehicles.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to be in
Yeah.
that time period.
Yeah. Good set decoration for sure.
Yeah, set pieces,
Yeah.
like
The sets were
production.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, the carnivals are awesome.
Yeah.
Carnival was really nice.
Yeah.
That was great to see.
Yeah.
You know, a slice of it's not a slice of life piece or anything like that, but in a sense, it's a slice of what life could have been like in
Right. Yeah.
in the early 40s.
Definitely.
You know, I like when they first skip to 2 years ahead, and he's in like that really fancy room, and there's that like the big open circular ceiling and like a big light, and he's got the blindfold on with the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
third
Yeah,
eye comes back
yes,
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really pretty scene. Like all the gold, like there's like a chandelier, I think, and you know, all
Shows
the
that he made
tables.
it pretty big
Yeah,
too. He's
yeah,
not
he's
just sitting at
pretty
a carnival.
swanky,
you know?
Yeah, no, he's come up for sure, but that's his peak basically. Man, he said he was gonna pay him $10,000 a session. Richard Jenkins'
Yeah.
character.
That's I mean, holy shit.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fucking money
Old
back
boy
then.
was making money, but he
Yeah.
couldn't stop. That's so common, and you know, someone that makes it big is they just don't know when to stop.
Right. Yeah.
And he tells Molly like just this last one, but you kind of know like if it went off successfully, then there would be more. It's
Yeah.
not the last one.
Right. Yeah.
He's always gonna want more. I think she says like whatever you're trying to fill inside of you or whatever you're missing, like I'm not. You know, She was fine being at the carnival.
Yeah.
You know, but he had ambitions that eventually are gonna kill him,
Yeah.
or basically kill him.
Yeah.
I keep saying kill him, but he's technically not dead. What do you A fate worse than death.
Yeah. Carlos, did you see how the 1947 version ended?
Yeah, a little different.
It's a lot different. I mean, not a lot, but it is. It's not the same.
He of course goes to another carnival boss and says, "Hey, can I work for you?"
Mm.
And they put him in the geek capacity. But it's a little different because it goes a little further. In this one, we just get cut off at that end where he's like, "Oh, I was born for this job." In the 1947 version, it goes a little bit further and it shows him actually as a geek trying to escape. Which, if you take that part, you can actually put that at. You notice Guillermo Del Toro puts it at the beginning of this one where he has to try to capture the geek.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, in the 47 version, he's like trying to escape, and then I think his wife Molly comes and saves him and tries to take him home.
Yeah.
I'm here now. I'm here.
Yeah.
You can come home.
I kind of like that because it's almost it's circular in that way, in the sense that like they're like Pete and Xena now. I thought that was kind of neat.
They've become the new.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah. And it's funny because I guess the studio made them do that. They didn't want it to end the way this one ends and the way the book ends. They wanted more of a happy ending.
That definitely is a lot happier than
Yeah.
the new version.
Love is reunited,
Yeah,
and now we're gonna
exactly,
get
yeah.
better. Not in this one.
I think it still works. Personally, in the 47 version, you know, it fits that circular theme
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
at
if they're
least.
just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the point of the lesson is that like you can't get away with the scam, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's Pete and Xena. They do. They like.
Yeah.
That's why Pete's
true.
book. He's like, no, it's forbidden. Like,
Right.
I'll stop doing this.
Right. Yeah.
And when she does, when Pete forgets his cue or whatever, and she's kind of like, I feel your brother, like whatever, to that lady. When she later like sees her after the show, she's like, no, I told her the truth.
Yeah, the
Because like
trick,
if
yeah.
you do the spook show, like it's gonna bite you in the ass basically.
Right,
They're like, we
yeah.
don't do that anymore. So
Yep.
maybe full circle in the 1947 one is like, if they could do it, but you know, not go that far.
Yeah.
Then they would become Pete and Xena. But in this one, I just feel like Bradley Cooper's character is never gonna stop. You know, he was never able to control himself like that. And he asks her right there at the, like, why don't you just lie to her, give her hope? Like, how could that hurt, basically? And they're just like, don't do that shit. But yeah, he his rise and fall is very interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think this one, I kind of like your theory that they end up like a Pete and Xena at the end of the 47 version. That is a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
But this one, we're just left to think he ends up as the geek. And as we see earlier on, the geek just ends up getting infected and they have to drop him off at a hospital. And that's the last thing you hear about him.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
that's a way darker.
That's what happens
Yeah.
when you're a geek.
Yeah.
You're
Pretty
less than
much.
human, basically.
Yeah.
We've had doctors from Europe examine him, and they confirm he is human. It's like, damn.
What the hell's that from?
That's from this.
That's from this?
Yeah.
Oh,
William Dafoe
wow.
when he's
Is
introduced.
that when,
Yeah.
like, when he's, like, talking him up or whatever? Okay. Okay.
When he's
yeah.
presenting it to everybody.
Yeah. That's right. I totally forgot about that. That's funny.
You know, another thing I just realized, they call him Cluck a couple times when he
Oh,
first
really?
gets there.
Huh.
Yeah, like when Willem Dafoe is handing out the money from them helping take down the circus, he thinks he's going to get $1 and he only has 75 cents. And he's like, I saw you leaving. I clocked you, Cluck, is what he says to him.
Oh.
Because he was at the geek show and he didn't pay.
Oh. Okay.
But I wonder if Cluck is supposed to sort of like, because I associate the chickens with the geek. I wonder if that was kind of foreshadowing on what's going to happen to him. You know?
Could be.
Again, the destiny thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the eye's always watching him. Mirrors too. Mirrors are kind of like that same idea as the eye, like you're seeing yourself for who you are and what you can
Self-reflection.
become. Yeah, and just fucking. I keep saying it, but it's dark, man. It ends on like a dark note when you think about it.
I left the theater after watching this one and I was like, that was a pretty crazy ending. I did not see it doing that. And then like a week later, I was like sitting there in my car and I was like, holy shit, that movie's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We're all just destined to become geeks right now. We're all getting set up.
Yeah, our own nightmare alleys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched it on Thursday and I was just thinking about it like all day Friday. I was
It's a good one. It's a good
Yeah.
thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He leaves you with a lot to think about.
Right.
Yeah, feeling, sensation. That's what you want from a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some kind of reaction.
Yeah. Did you watch it all the way with color?
No, I just
Okay.
caught it here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one do you think you prefer?
Man, I saw it in black and white and it was so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd really like to see it in black and white.
Yeah.
You guys should. I
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be available.
I remember my college photography professor, she told us the definition of photography is painting with light. And it never really, I never could put my head around that definition until I watched this in black and white. I've probably brought this lesson up before, that my teacher defined that. Sorry, guys. But if
good.
you
No,
watch
you're
this
fine.
one in black and white, the way that Cate Blanchett's face is lit up, like you can only see like her eyes in some scenes, or like you were saying, Bradley Cooper, sometimes you can't even see his eyes at all because of the
Yeah.
shadows of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's so cool in black and white just to see the way that he literally paints a scene with light, just so much light.
Right.
Yeah, like Cate Blanchett's office has that really big window, and it's like snowstorming outside and
Yeah.
stuff, but that lets in the light. And then again, that goes back to the blue light. It's like blue from the moon in the color version, of course. I just loved it. I thought so beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy what you can do with movies.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch a contemporary movie because it's like, you know, I've watched, and in reviewing, we've done like a lot of 80s, 90s films, but to see how far movies have come and
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
how much the craft has been, you know, worked on and perfected in some senses. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I love this one a lot. It's probably one of the
Nice.
prettier movies I've seen, you know,
Yeah.
in ever. I don't know.
Wow.
I think I even liked it more than his last two movies, Crimson.
It's Peak or whatever.
Crimson
Peak, I think.
Is
Isn't it Crimson Peak?
Yeah. I didn't really enjoy that one, and I wasn't in love with The Shape of Water, which actually won the Academy Award a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
I'm actually hoping this one will win an award because I like
Yeah.
them better than both.
I
of
saw it's
those.
up for some
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
big awards.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does. So, Roman, what'd you think about this one? Out of 5 stars.
Ooh, it's a tough one. Well, every movie is tough to rate because art is so subjective, you know. Personally, I'm thinking I would put this at a 4.5, which is a great score. but I think it's a great movie. You know, the performances are all solid. The set design is beautiful. I talked so much about the lighting and like the cinematography of it. You know, I'm still learning a lot about cinematography. I don't know so much about like framing shots and stuff. But if there's one thing I can see, it's the light. And yeah, I just thought that was incredible. So visually, it was just very beautiful. The story is like engaging. Maybe some things that detract are the length. I thought 2.5 hours was a little long, and plus there are some things that were unexplained maybe that I thought if you have 2.5 hours you could probably explain, but
Very good point.
yeah. But you know, I mean, I still liked that it was long, and you really got to sort of dive into this world. I always talk about world building, you know, and I think they did a really good job doing that here. I saw an interview with Bradley Cooper where he says he didn't have to work very hard to find the character of Stanton, because basically he just stepped in and everything around him was so alive that he could just, you know, quickly kind of find that character and stuff. So yeah, I thought that's a testament to Guillermo Del Toro. Did a really good job. You know, everything at the carnival is beautiful. Freaking Cate Blanchett's office, I thought was such a cool setting, and they keep going back there. She even mentions at one point, like, have we met anywhere besides this office? Which they hadn't. But yeah, that noir kind of element to it, the mystery of it, the drama, it feels like it's molding a lot of genres. It's kind of, I don't know if I'd put it in horror necessarily, but there's a little, I mean, just how dark it is psychologically is pretty terrifying. So yeah, overall, I'd say 4.5 out of 5 for me. This film was great. Yeah, and I don't watch a lot of contemporary movies, honestly. Most of the time when I watch a movie, it's a 80s movie or 90s movie.
Yeah, I fall into that category. I feel like a lot too.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see something new, and just what they're doing these days, you know, and what old Guillermo's doing, because I haven't seen a lot of his recent stuff. I haven't seen Shape of Water. I haven't seen the Crimson Peak that you mentioned, but I've seen Hellboy, and I've seen Pan's Labyrinth, and you know, I love those movies, and I just like that. If you showed somebody that doesn't know that he directed all 3 of those, if you showed them all like side by side, I think a lot of people would be able to tell, like, yeah, this is very similar. Like, this is the same guy probably. So anyway, I love his style, and all that brings me to 4.5 stars.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, Ian?
I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I completely agree with Roman that in this, when he brought up the length, I think the length is this movie's biggest detriment. I don't think it needed to be 2.5 hours long, personally.
Right.
It is a very good movie with very good performances by a very good director. I think he's a dude out right now. He's like, when you know, we talk about him a lot, you know.
Oh yeah.
We mention him. He's like an Edgar Wright, even a Quentin Tarantino. Like, he's a guy where it bums me out that I didn't go see this in the theater. It bums me out. We didn't bring this up. This did not do well at all
in the box office.
And I guess it's kind of history repeating itself, because I guess the 1947 version didn't do well at all either.
But we also said it was competing against Spider-Man.
Yeah, which, I mean, you're not going to beat Spider-Man.
No.
That's one thing. It's like, who is this targeted towards? You know?
I don't
Who's
know.
the target audience for this?
That's a good point.
Like,
lovers of Guillermo del Toro?
yeah, because I was going to say I would
Right.
go to this specifically because I like Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Nothing against the actor. I mean, there's great actors, but it's like, you know, I would go to, it's like, oh, the new Guillermo. I think that's what we were talking about when this first guy was like, oh, the new Guillermo del Toro movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it really bums me out that because I think this movie deserved to be seen. And nothing against Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man a lot, but yeah, that bums me out. But yeah, I'm getting 3.5 out of 5. Just, you know, it did drag a little for me. Not gonna lie, this may be way too hipstery, and I apologize, but I think I kind of preferred the 1947 version. Why, I don't really. I thought that Stan in that his name was Tyrone Power, I think was his name. I could be getting that wrong. I thought
It's
he
kinda
actually
on the nose.
Yeah, I thought he did a very good performance in that. And it's a little. I think it's like maybe like an hour 50. It kind of.
That's long for a 47 movie.
It is long for a 47 movie, and I even think when I was watching that, I was like, this is kind of dragging a little bit, and I felt like that almost a little more in the 2021 version. They both dragged,
Right.
but for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe the ending. Maybe I preferred the ending in the 47 version.
Bro, Guillermo Del Toro's a genius. He was dragging it on purpose. Because
Right.
The 47 film drag.
Exactly. He's paying homage in the dragginess. Yeah. No, I'm not, and I'm not. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to, talk more about the 2020. I'm not trying to, because I think that's taken away from this film. I don't want to take away from this film.
It's a bit of a remake, right?
Yeah, all I can say is that it was a good movie. I am glad we talked about it. I am glad that I hadn't seen it. It's a contemporary movie. It's only like 2 months old.
Yeah.
And I like when you were saying, Roman, I agreed. Like I mainly watch like kind of older movies. I would like to watch more newer movies because there is good stuff out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit too.
Yep.
But there's a lot of shit that's there's a lot of old stuff that's shit. So it kind of, it comes and goes. But yeah, I'm glad you chose this.
Yeah.
I'm jealous Carlos got to see it in black and white at the Tower
If you guys
here
can
in
still
Sacramento,
catch it-
California.
Yeah, if you guys can still catch it, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a big screen too. I'd like to see that.
This is one I would have liked to have seen, and if I just didn't, just because Spider-Man. You gotta go see Spider-Man.
Right.
You
Well,
like
plus
Man Spider, right?
Yeah, and it came out right. There was like a COVID spike at that time too.
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of people weren't going to the theaters.
I think we made the right choice in seeing The Matrix over this, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that film is gonna define our
We made
generation.
that was a good because
can't
The
believe we
Matrix.
saw
I mean, it blew our
Matrix.
minds.
Retching
It
noises.
blew our minds.
Yeah, it blew.
I walked away a different person after seeing The Matrix regurgitated or whatever the hell it was called.
The squeakquel.
The squeakquel. Yeah. Anyway, I've taken up too much time. It's a good movie. 3.5 out of 5. I liked it. Thank you for choosing it, Roman.
Yeah.
So, Carlos.
Yeah, it was a good choice. I agree. The score that I would give it, I'd be right in the middle of you guys. I think I'd go 4 out of 5 for myself.
Nice.
If I do see it come out on Blu-ray in black and white, I'm definitely gonna grab that one.
I would too, actually.
I know that Tom Hardy's Mad Max actually was released in black and white as well.
Same with Logan, the Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
I have. I don't have the black and white Mad Max, but I have the black and white Logan. I still have yet to watch the black and white one.
I haven't watched either of those in black and white.
I think I watched I found the black and white Mad Max on the internet, and I don't know.
That's the thing, though, is it's a post-apocalyptic, super fast-paced.
This movie, I feel like
explosions and everything.
I think you could benefit way more from this kind of movie in black and white.
Yeah,
personally.
exactly. This is more of a noir.
Yeah.
There's not like
There's not action.
There's no
Right.
action really.
Yeah, exactly.
This one definitely benefits from
A lot
black
of
and white.
longer takes.
Yeah.
Like not Mad Max has tons of cuts, right? I mean,
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
It's
That one's
just like
super
jumping
fast-paced.
around. This one is like on people's faces. There's so much of the light and shadow going on that it totally fits for black
Yeah.
and white.
Yeah.
Like last movie I saw black and white was that was originally a color movie, is The Mist, the Stephen King adaptation.
Really?
I forgot. I have
Frank
that as
Darabont.
I have that as well.
They
Yeah.
did that in black and white?
Red Letter Media talk about it. You should. I would
Oh,
recommend
yeah?
that one too. They say that the
boys.
black and white version's better.
Whoa.
I actually
Yeah.
thought the same thing.
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
because it kind of fits like a I'm sorry, we're way off topic, but it fits like a B movie, kind of like monster film almost.
Okay.
And so like in black and white, I thought that was really cool.
definitely
Just like I thought
see that.
this film noir, or I keep saying film noir, I don't know why. Noir, like genre type film fits really well for black and white. This I'm jealous of you as well. Just like you. I
Yeah.
wish I had seen it black and white.
I
big
think
screen.
it also puts you in that era too. I don't want to say period piece. Is this a period piece?
It's
because it puts us into
definitely.
that period of the like.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a
40s.
period piece.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
for sure. Yeah.
But it definitely puts you into that vibes with the black and white as well. Performances great. I always love seeing Willem Dafoe in anything, doing his monologues. Bradley Cooper did great for being our Wreck-It Raccoon. He's more of a
Right.
comedic guy, but he played a pretty good serious role.
Yeah.
You got Xena in there. She was awesome. Cate Blanchett's character was dope. Yeah, the lighting was amazing for a Guillermo Del Toro film. He's been doing like, I don't want to say like, The Shape of Water was more of a fairy tale film. Like, he did a very classic, just straight up fairy tale film. There's no like M. Night Shyamalan, here's a twist. There's no like twist or anything. It's a straight up, she falls in love with the merman. This one's like a straight up noir. He's not trying to like do too many twists and turns or trying to impress us like a Michael Bay film or anything.
Yeah.
He just makes good movies, good straight up films.
Solid dialogue too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like that they use old timey terms.
Yeah.
You know.
What is shoe flies?
Yeah.
Shoe
Shoe
flies don't bother me.
flies.
This
Yeah.
one
When he
def-
pours him a shot, he's like, "You want to snort?"
That's
What?
This
like,
one, I was left still thinking about it for sure. It gives you a lot to think about. What was that? What did I just watch? What was the whole point of that movie? Especially with the last line. Oh, I was born for this. Yeah, just a great film. Another great Guillermo del Toro film. And I think that he's probably one of my top 3 directors. You named the other 2, Edgar Wright and Quentin Tarantino. Just
Like contemporary or just all overall?
I think overall those
Yeah,
are just like my
I wouldn't blame
favorite
you.
directors.
Great
They're-
directors.
they're
I'm
putting out
glad
great
that
stuff.
we at least still have people like that.
Yeah,
Because
people who care about film.
It seems like they're not as. I mean, I can't say what it was like in the olden days, but I mean, I couldn't tell you who directed Spider-Man: No Way Home.
No,
I couldn't tell you who directed. What's a big movie? I couldn't tell you. Who
Insert Marvel movie.
I couldn't tell you who directed the new Scream movie.
No.
I know that they directed other horror stuff, but I couldn't name you. Like, he's a name,
Right,
like
he's the draw.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has a style to him.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I think is so great about him.
well, and I think that because you guys appreciated this being a period piece as well, you guys might even like Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho.
I
'Cause that
really
one takes
wanted to.
place in the
I
70s.
feel really ashamed that I didn't see that in the theater.
Maybe we should watch that one soon
Definitely.
too, because that's a really good
That's a
one.
great idea.
Love
Puts you
Edgar Wright.
directly into
Yeah.
the 70s, and you're like, oh man, the vibes, baby,
Yeah.
the vibes.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
It's Austin Powers show up. There's,
I was
dude,
waiting.
There's a part in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Roman Polanski, straight up, the character Roman Polanski, not actual Roman, obviously, he looks straight up like fucking Austin Powers in that movie.
Oh wow.
The whole time, like, that's like, oh
Wanna
my god,
shag,
people actually
baby?
dressed like that in the 60s?
Austin Powers
Holy
is
shit.
in Baby Driver, the Edgar Wright film, when they get the Mike Myers
This is
mask.
Michael Myers. Yeah.
I forgot
Good
that Quentin Tarantino did that period piece as well.
That was my
Once Upon
favorite
a Time?
movie that year that came out.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Everybody, I think I said this when we weren't on subject. I said Joker is a little overrated, but I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the best movie that came out that year.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we got a 3.5, we got a 4, and a 4.5, guys.
Yeah.
What
Is that 11.5? Did I do that right?
sounds...
Maybe.
4.8.5. No, that's a 12.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
7.5, 4.5, 12. Yeah.
12's good.
Yeah.
15.
12 out of 15 is a solid grade.
Yeah.
Another
No,
good
this
score.
is a solid film for sure.
Yeah. I recommend it.
I recommend it as well.
And if you could see it in black and white,
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And I'm recommending that. I haven't even seen it in black and white.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe I'm telling that to myself.
Yeah.
Go
yeah,
watch it again.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a long movie. Set aside a few
Yeah.
hours, but
Yeah.
nah, you get into it pretty quick,
Yeah.
or at least I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Well, thanks for watching it with me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have we talked about what we're doing next week?
Oh, yeah. Next week is Ian's pick.
Yeah.
And Ian,
Yeah. Should I
what do you
say?
got? Yeah, go for it.
We're going to be talking about in honor of Holt McCallany, we're going to be talking about the 1987 classic Creepshow 2. Stay tuned. No. Apparently, March 4th of this year, 2022, is the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu. So,
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Yeah, so we're going to try to tackle that one, which I'm excited for.
yeah, a little different than anything else we've
Very,
done too.
very different.
Yeah.
It's silent. Silence.
Considered
only
the
in black and
first-
white?
Considered the first horror film?
One of them.
That's what I've heard. One of the first horror movies.
I think,
yeah. And it's German.
That's a big old can of worms.
We'll have to get into it in the episode.
Yep.
Yeah. It's one of the voiced. That's for sure.
All I know about it is that SpongeBob
Fucking the
reference.
lights.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
my
Flickering the
introduction to
lights.
Nosferatu. I was like, who's that guy? He's horrifying looking.
He's scary looking.
He's fucking horrifying.
They did this
Yeah.
100 years ago?
Yep. Yeah. Those
Who-
Joymans. I
Who
tell
plays
you.
him? Do you know?
His name was Max Schreck or something.
Sure. And there have been like documentaries about that
Yeah.
man's
Yeah.
performance. And
Yeah. It's pretty
even-
horrifying.
I think Willem Dafoe did a film about Nosferatu.
I think it's like Shadow of the Vampire. I really want to watch that.
Oh,
cool.
It seems
Yeah.
really entertaining from the clips I've seen.
I might try to fit that in.
I'm gonna
too.
try it
Defoe
as well.
connection.
Yeah.
6 degrees of Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Yeah. All comes back to Willem Dafoe. Willem the friend. Not Dafoe. Anyway.
We love him.
But enough of my shitty jokes.
Well, get ready, guys. Nosferatu next week.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until then, guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
See you guys. Thank you.
Later.
Come on,